So profits from ransomware drops about 40% during 2022 because victims simply refuse to pay. Let's check this out. What's up guys, it's Josh back with another video, and today I have some more cyber news, and this is dealing with ransomware and how the profits have dropped a substantial amount simply because the victims refuse to pay. Now, if you've been around the channel, you obviously know what ransomware is, but just for anyone new, ransomware is simply a type of malware that encrypts a victim's files, making them inaccessible, and then demands payment in exchange for the decryption keys. And cyber criminals typically spread this malware through phishing emails, infected software, as well as vulnerabilities in out-of-date software. And these types of attacks over the last couple years have caused significant financial loss and disrupt business operations across the globe. So let's hop over to the article and read about the stats.
Before we move forward, I wanted to ask the Keep It Techie fam to consider joining my channel membership. By joining the membership, you can support the channel, get access to member-only videos, tech mentorship, early technical course access, and exclusive Linux content. Thanks, and back to the video.
Okay, so this article is on Bleeping Computer, and of course, as always, I'll have the link down in the description of the video to this article so you guys can read along with it. And the title basically states that ransomware profits drop 40% in 2022 as victims refuse to pay. And this article was released around January 19th, 2023, and I'm assuming they gathered all the information about various ransomware attacks to put them together in this article, and we'll go through and read about it. But it basically starts off: ransomware gangs extorted from victims about 454.6 million throughout 2022, a drop of roughly 40% from the record-breaking 765 million recorded in the previous 2 years. So yeah, it's dropped a significant amount. They're still getting a lot of money, but it's dropped substantially. Now, according to data from blockchain analytics company Chainalytics, this drastic decline in ransomware profits is not driven by fewer attacks by the victims, but this drastic decline in ransomware profits is not driven by fewer attacks, but the victims refuse to pay the hackers. And that's interesting to see. It looks as though people are most likely backing up their stuff like they should. I know that's not 100% guaranteed, you know what I'm saying, but it looks like people are just backing up their system as much as they can. And if they do get infected, and they have their hard drive unplugged, you know what I'm saying, they could just reload the operating system. And plus, a lot more people are using cloud technologies to back up a lot of these stuff, which that information is encrypted up there on these various cloud platforms. And so the ransomware can't, unless you have it directly connected like all the time to your system, it can't encrypt that data as well. But here is a chart showing you guys the profits from 2017 to 2022. So 2017 about 46 million, 43 million in 2018, 174 million, and yeah, it's been going up and up. And then 2020 is like one of the highest peaks, as well as 2021, and then back down to 457 million based on them tracking all the information on it from Chainalytics for all those years. Now, 2022 was one of the most active years in ransomware activity, with thousands of file encrypting malware strains targeting organizations of all sizes. And let's go down a little further, but it says, however, likely due to diminishing profits, among other reasons, the average ransomware lifespan drops from 153 days in 2021 to just 70 days in 2022. So here's the lifespan chart right here as well, just breaking it down, showing you guys by the year the lifespan of the actual malware. And so the year was marked by the end of the Conti operations and the emergence of new ransomware as a service activity like Royal Play and Black Bastard. Meanwhile, the operators of Lockbit, Hive, Kuba, Black Cat, and Ragnar ransomware maintained a relatively steady flow of victims throughout 2022. And so here's another chart of those strands, for the year of 2022. That's provided by Chainalytics as well. Now it says victims won't pay. Despite the multiple extortion tactics employed by ransomware operators, file encryption, DDoS attacks, threat to leak stolen data or to inform data protections authorities of a breach, a growing number of victims refuse to meet the threat actors' demands. And to be honest, I would be in that boat if it happened to me. If somebody, encrypted my hard drive or something like that, well, I got backups for days, you know what I'm saying, that are stored in another location. Now, if somebody, obviously get those backups, I have offline backups as well that are not connected to anything. You know what I'm saying? And so I can get all my data back. But at the end of the day, if somebody did this, I definitely wouldn't be paying. You know what I'm saying? I obviously don't use Windows anyway. So it's a little bit harder to get into a Linux system as far as with ransomware. It could be done. Not saying it's totally immune, but I would just, let the system go and reinstall the operating system. I would fall in that boat, basically. Now it says cyber intelligence firm Covaware says there is identifiable trends since 2019 in these stats showing that victim paying rates are constantly dropping. In 2019, 76% of ransomware victims chose to pay the ransom, while only 24% dealt with the consequences instead. This trend changed in 2029 as 59% of victims chose not to pay the ransom. Yeah, hey, I don't blame you. Do that. That's how I feel about it. The past year marked a significant psychological turning point for both attackers and defenders. 2022 was the first year when more ransomware victims decided not to pay. And that's a good thing. I'm glad to see people are understanding, that these people are basically trying to hold your data ransom. And if you have backups of it, you know what I'm saying, then you don't really have to worry about this type of attack, in my opinion. At least offline backups. It says this shift in behavior highlights a change in the perception and approach towards handling ransomware attacks. This change can be attributed mainly to three things. The victims realize that paying the ransom does not guarantee they will get the files back, and that the threat actor will delete the stolen files. And that's true. A lot of times they won't even send the key over. So instead of wasting your money, especially on some of these people that most likely won't send you the key to decrypt all your files, you're going to lose it. So why waste your money? You know what I'm saying? Just chuck it up as a loss or a L. Take the L. Now it says the public perception of ransomware attacks has matured. A data leak resulting from these incidents tend to have an attenuated effect on brand reputation tarnishing. And it also says organizations are following better backup strategies, which are also required for ransomware coverage insurers. And yeah, that's one thing about organizations. They have to follow certain guidelines. A lot of organizations have to follow these guidelines set out there. And one of those things is backup strategies. You got to have a good backup strategy in order to have that insurance coverage for your organization, especially when you're working with a whole bunch of data as well as private data, PII, personal identifiable information. Often giving them a way to restore their IT infrastructure in cases of attacks. So as long as you have a way to restore everything, yeah, your systems will be down. It's an inconvenience, but at the same time, you don't lose anything, and you also don't pay these companies or these ransomware organizations this big fee in order to decrypt your data. So that's one thing I'm happy about, because one of the things I always say, we are all responsible for, the security of the systems for the company that we work for. All of us, no matter what department you work in, we're all responsible for, the security of the systems. Ultimately, the IT department will handle all those backups, but I'm just saying, like, by making sure you're not downloading and installing things on the system, we're all responsible for the security of the systems at our jobs. But it also states, even if victims are handling ransomware attacks differently than 2 years ago, completely discouraging the operators by not paying them is still a distant goal. So it says, as long as the percentage of paying victims is significant, a hacker's cash is larger amounts from higher value targets, ransomware attacks will be a present threat. Now, that was an awesome article. I really enjoy reading it. You know what I'm saying? I love talking about these cyber attacks. That's why I kind of incorporated into my channel, you know what I'm saying, as far as just covering all the news that's going on, especially dealing with cybersecurity, ransomware, and all those good things. But it's great to, also stay informed of what's going on, in the world. And as you can see, a lot of people are starting to learn from these attacks that are going on. So, and that's one way of defending, organizations, as well as your personal systems, what I'm saying, by getting the word out there for other people, so these things don't spread as much as they spread over the, last couple years or so. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this article. But I hope you have a wonderful day, and of course, keep it techy.